Going on, guys? It is your boy Gavin back with my first video on Stack the Box. Today we'll be going over my top 32 wide receivers heading into the 2022 season. But before we get into that, make sure you please subscribe and leave a comment down below if you have anything to say about this list. Just remember, this is my opinion. This isn't, just if you want to flame me, you can. But this is what I think is going to be the top 32 receivers at the end of the 2022 season. Let's get right into it. At 32, we have T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. This guy was a second round pick coming out of Clemson last year. Was really not looked at as one of the top guys in the class last year, but I think he really proved this year that he should have been taken the first round. This guy is incredible, but I think the only way that he's at 32 is because they drafted another wide receiver at 5, and you'll see where he's on this list later. Coming in at 31, we have Robert Woods of the Los Angeles Rams here. I think Robert Woods is very, very underrated. I think all the Rams wide receivers are. By all, I just mean him and Cooper Kupp. Um, this guy does it year in, year out. He's just a safety belt for safety blanket for any quarterback that plays. Has been Jared Goff, but now it's going to be Matt Stafford. He's just very good at getting open, running those drag routes, running those crossers, and just being just annoying to guard. And yeah. Coming at third, we have Will Fuller, the newest member of the Miami Dolphins. This guy's a phenomenal speed threat. He's a very good deep route runner. I think he'll give Tua just more dynamic in that offense, him and Jalen Waddle. But, his big issue is, can he stay healthy, He's never on the fucking field. Let's be honest, all right? This guy, if he can stay healthy for full 16 games, has potential to be a top 12 receiver in my opinion. We kind of saw a glimpse last year of what he can do if he stays healthy, but once again, he is suspended one game next year, and his health is a big issue. Coming at 29 is Mr. No Hands, Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has the potential to be a 1,000-yard receiver every year, but he can't catch the fucking ball. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him, dude, but he needs to catch the ball because if he can, this guy's a top 15 receiver in my opinion. Maybe top 20. I don't know. I think top 15 might have been too generous, but he can't catch a fucking ball. Watching him last year was really really frustrating. I'm not fantasy. Uh, yeah, that offense was bad to watch last year. If you're a Steelers fan, I feel bad. I don't know how the hell you guys went 11-0, but whatever. Uh, so yeah, this guy, if he can catch the ball, is going to be a great number 2 receiver for the Steelers, and I think a very good young player in that great young receiving core. At number 28, we have CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys, one of the top rookies last year, drafted, I believe, at 17, something like that, to the Cowboys. Um, you can't really blame him. He had fucking Ben DiNucci throwing to him half the year and the red rifle. But when Dak was there, he was starting to grow. Those first couple weeks, you could see a lot of potential being, with CeeDee Lamb, and I think he was just shy of 1,000 yards last year. If he had Dak, he hits at 1,000 yards, fucking 9 times out of 10. Like, this guy is incredible. But I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed in that Dallas offense for him to be put up very very productive numbers. So that's why he's gonna be a little low, but we all know CD has the talent to be a top 20, 15 receiver in this league. There's a lot of receivers who can do that, but there's a lot of factors that vary into why the numbers are where they are. But I think 28 is good for CD in his second year in the NFL. At number 27, we have Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans. This guy has been on like 6 teams, so like he's on a new team every year, it feels like, and he still has 1,000 yards every year, which is crazy to think about. He's just a great speed threat. He has great hands, great route running. It's just I don't know what's up with Brandon Cooks, man, but he usually turns up at the end of the year. I swear, it's always the end of the year for Brandon Cooks. He just turns up. He's a very underrated receiver, and people still don't realize that. I think he's only like 27 years old, which is crazy. He'll probably end up getting traded this year, probably to like the Broncos. I don't know. So some random team he'll go to and have 1,000 yards, and he'll still be not talked about. But I think 27 is a good spot for Brandon Cooks. At number 26, we have Courtland Sutton of the Denver Broncos. Did not play last year due to a torn ACL, but I feel like he's going to come back and just be an immediate help to Drew Lock in that terrible offense last year. They have great players on the offense. You're talking Noah Fant, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. You know, this Broncos offense has potential to be, if not top 10 in the league, if they can put the pieces together, which is up to Drew Lock, but that doesn't matter here. Courtland Sutton was starting to come on as a beast last year or 2 years ago, especially when Drew Lock came in. They went like 4-1. Courtland Sutton was a huge reason why they were winning, and I think he deserves more recognition. He's a very good young player. Courtland Sutton's a beast. I have him kind of low, but he didn't play last year, so yeah. At number 25, we have Robby Anderson of the Carolina Panthers. He's going to be reunited with Sam Darnold this year, and I feel like this just helps him even more. You know, Robby Anderson he's just known to be a deep threat. I feel like he can do way more, but it's all up to Joe Brady what he wants to do in Carolina. They have a lot of mouths to feed him, DJ Moore, Dan Arnold, who I think is going to be very underrated coming into next year. I want you guys to watch out for Dan Arnold. Obviously, CMC, whoever, yeah, no. Obviously, CMC and Sam Darnold. I feel like Sam Darnold coming in is going to help Robbie a lot. They already have that connection, and yeah. At number 24, we have the Virgin himself, Tyler Lockett. There's not much to say about Tyler Lockett. He just gets the job done, man. He just gets it done every freaking year. You know, I feel like he is underrated. He doesn't put up monster stats, but he always has that one game every year. You know what I'm talking about, all you fantasy football players, where he just destroys. Like, I'm talking like 50 points PPR, and he did it last year against the Cardinals. I remember that game. Yeah, that was scary times. But yeah, Tyler Lockett, very underrated. Gets the job done every year, but he just doesn't. I don't know. Something about Tyler Lockett's always just like, man, I don't know. You know. And then you look at the numbers, and it's like, okay, he's actually really good, but there's a lot of other guys you'd rather have than Tyler Lockett, but he's still a very good receiver. He's very reliable and always has been his whole career for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. At 23, we have Jamar Chase, and this is what I was talking about earlier with T. Higgins. You draft a guy like Jamar Chase at 5, he is going to be your number one receiver. He is the alpha receiver for the Bengals. Him and Joe Burrow already have that LSU connection. There's no way he's not going to be the number one receiver. Look, he's wearing the number 1. Like, come on. I think this guy hits 1,000 yards next year easily. He's going to be one of the – Jamar Chase has a very good shot at being Offensive Rookie of the Year next year, but I doubt he will because that's a quarterback award, as we saw last year with Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson. I'm not getting into it, but I think this guy hits 1,000 yards easily. I'm talking 7, 8 touchdowns. Him and Joe Burrow are going to be electric from the start. At 22, we have Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is where in the list you can just start mix-matching any of them. Receivers are a really weird position to, especially in like the mid-teens and like the low 20s. Like, you can flip all these players. It doesn't really matter. All these players are very good, obviously. They're top 32 for a reason. But yeah, I feel like Chris Godwin, he was good last year, but his injuries caught up to him, man. And I don't know. He's very good, obviously. Oh my God. Chris Godwin is a very solid number 2 receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's why he's number 22 on this list. At 21, we have the TikTok man himself, Juju Smith-Schuster. Had an electric rookie year. Youngest player in the NFL. He just was dominating, man. It's just plain and simple. The Steelers were very good that year. But after that, you know, Juju didn't fall off, but he's just never been able to recreate what he did that rookie year. I still think he's a very solid receiver. He's a very good slot receiver. But I want to see more production out of Juju next year, man. Especially, you know, Big Ben's probably last year there or whatever. But I think Juju's in for a very good year. You know, they're going to have a good run game, hopefully. They're going to have 2 other good-ass receivers. And I feel like that's going to leave Juju. I think they're going to forget about Juju. I think all the hype last year went with Chase Claypool, and You know, teams are gonna start figuring out that Deontay Johnson is a threat, and there's be like, what about Juju? And Juju's gonna be fucking doing the fucking doing the fucking I don't know what it's called. The fucking one of the TikTok dances to the end zone, 10 yards out, and just fucking Corvetting 10 yards out of the end zone, 70-yard bomb. Let's go. At number 20, we got DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers. I feel like this guy is a very underrated receiver as well. Both of the Carolina Panthers receivers had a very sneaky good year last year. One of the top wide receiver duos in the league, number wise. But yeah, DJ Moore. This is gonna be his, what is it? Same year as Calvin Ridley. I don't know, but this guy, gets better every year. It feels like, and I feel like it's not gonna stop. I feel like this year he's gonna take even a bigger step than he did last year, with Joe Brady in the second year with Carolina. With Sam Darnold, I feel like this team has very, very high upside, very young defense, and I really like the Carolina Panthers next year. At number 19, we have Scary Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team. This guy, once again, he's just been kind of screwed with quarterbacks in his young career. I feel like once Washington gets a set quarterback, this guy can be very easily top 12 in the league. But he's had Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick by no means is a bad quarterback, but it's just not your franchise guy you're going to be having with 12 years, you know? So Terry McLaurin, I hope he doesn't get wasted in Washington. They have such a good defense. They just need to figure out what's going on with quarterback, and he can be top 12 easily. You're talking, what was he, second round pick, second at Ohio State. He just came on the scene. He really took a great leadership role with the Washington team, and overall just a fantastic player. At number 18, we have Cooper Kupp, one of the most underrated slot receivers in the NFL. This guy's footwork is insane, man. He's a sneaky athletic, you know. That's what they call the white guys in the NFL, is a sneaky athletic, and this guy is no different. This guy just finds a way to get separation, gets open, just wins at the line of scrimmage, and just he's just a beast, you know. I feel like with Matt Stafford in town next year, this guy's production, not only is it just gonna skyrocket, but he's gonna be a great fantasy wide receiver for all the fantasy guys out there. So yeah. At number 17, we have the newest member of the New York Giants, and that is Kenny Golladay, signing a huge free agent deal with New York. And hopefully this makes Daniel Jones a better quarterback. You saw what Diggs did with Josh Allen, and hopefully Kenny Golladay can do the same. You know, they drafted Kadarius Toney, return of Saquon, Kyle Rudolph, Evan Ingram. If Daniel Jones can't figure it out after this, I feel like you just have to move on from the Duke product. But Kenny Golladay was, I believe, a third-round pick. Played his way up the depth chart in Detroit. Found himself at a massive deal. And same with him, man. It's just his injuries. If he can stay healthy, this guy is easily top 12, top 13. He can do those numbers easily. And I think he's going to have a good year next year with the Giants. At 16, we have DK Metcalf. DK's weird, man, because you have people that just meat ride him and immediately call him top 7, top 10 receiver, top 5. I'm talking about you Seattle fans. Mainly it's just people on TikTok being stupid. That's what I see it on. Like, I believe he's a great he's a good receiver. You know, he's a great physical receiver. He's fast. He's nothing we've ever seen. But I just feel like it's too early to say that he's top 10, whatever. You know, he doesn't have a huge route tree, and that's okay. He's a big receiver. He's a very good contested catch receiver, and he's fast. You know, I just think of the San Francisco game last year where he was literally just boxing out players in the end zone, just fucking destroying. So if he can keep this up, DK can definitely be a top 10, top 12 receiver. I just want him to get, I don't know, I want him to do it again this year, and if he does, then I think he deserves a top 12, top 10 spot on this list. At number 15, we have Amari Cooper, and this guy, as soon as he got traded to the Cowboys, has been very, very productive for them. But once again, it's just the quarterback. Even without Dak, I think he had 1,000 yards last year. This guy just gets it done every year, and he's very underrated. He has great hands, gets separation, definitely top 15 receiver. At 14, this one might piss you guys off, but we have Odell Beckham Jr. This guy, he's just ever since he got traded from the Giants, I just don't think things have ever fallen his way. You know, you you got Baker trying to force the ball into to him year one, got hurt, but I think with Kevin Stefanski, you saw a little bit of what OBJ can do in that offense. He's not the Jarvis Landry type where he's just running clear routes, drags, just catching a lot of balls, just being a very good blanket for Baker Mayfield. You want to see OBJ be more electric, be that flashy player that he once was, and I think he can. He just has to stay healthy. He's very, very talented, obviously, but I feel like OBJ is going to have a very good year next year, and I hope they figure it out because he's just being wasted right now. At 13, we have A.J. Brown of the Tennessee Titans. This guy, dude, he's the same with DK. He just wins at the point of the ball every time. He's a great contested receiver, runs great routes, and has very, very good long game speed. But with the addition of Julio Jones, I feel like his numbers are going to go down a little bit, and that's not because he's a bad receiver. It's just because they have a lot of mouths to feed. You know, that's two alphas on one team. Julio Jones, one of the greatest receivers of all time, and you have A.J. Brown, one of the best young receivers in the game. And they're going to mesh very, very well, but I just feel like A.J. Brown's numbers are going to go just a slight bit down, but that all depends. You know, the Titans run the ball a lot, so there's not really that many catches to or passes to catch, but A.J. Brown, easily top 13 receiver in the league. At number 12, we have Adam Thielen of the Minnesota Vikings, and I feel like this guy, you all know the story, all right? You all know the story, the Mankato man. But this guy, dude, he has some of the best routes in the league. He has some of the best hands in the league. I feel like he has easily top 3, top 4, top 5 hands. He just gets it done every year. He doesn't get that much recognition, but he did have 14 touchdowns last year, just shy of 1,000 yards. He did not play a couple games, but if he did, easily 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. This guy was a red zone machine last year. He's just surgical route runner, and I feel like this offseason specifically, people are just forgetting how good he is, man. He's a very good wide receiver. And I feel like he has something to prove next year with the Vikings, and so do the Vikings have something to prove. That's why Adam Thielen is a top 12 wide receiver. At number 11, we have Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, Mike Evans isn't going to burn you, create separation, but he's just great at the ball. He's a great physical, big receiver, great red zone threat. And, you know, people like make fun of him because you look at it, you know, you have him on fantasy, you check his stats, and it's one reception, 3 yards, 1 touchdown. But it's probably the best 3-yard touchdown you've ever seen in your life. Just mossing everyone. Except when he plays Marshawn Lattimore. I don't know what happens, but he's still a top 11 receiver in the league. At number 10, we have Allen Robinson, one of the best receivers in the league. Obviously, this is going to be starting into our top 10. Allen Robinson has been held back his whole career by poor quarterback play. You know, you look at Jacksonville. You had Blake Bortles. He was good that 1 year, but you move on to Chicago. You play with Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky, and now you're on the 1-year franchise tag, and you're going to week 1 with Andy Dalton as your starter. You're not happy if you're A-Rob. But Justin Fields does give you some hope, I believe, if you're Allen Robinson, for a long-term deal with the Bears. But it's just all going to depend on what happens after this season. But yeah, Allen Robinson, very, very underrated. We have Mr. Slant Boy, Michael Thomas. You have to put him top 10 easily. I know he didn't play much last year, but he did tear it up in the playoffs against the Bears. Michael Thomas, not too long ago, broke Marvin Harrison's record for most receptions in a season, and you cannot forget that. That is very, very hard to do. Michael Thomas was just a phenomenal beast that year, and I feel like without Drew Brees, we might see more of what he can do, not just slant routes, not just out routes, but all just depends on how Sean Payton wants to use him. At number 8, we have Calvin Ridley, who had a breakout season last year, and with the loss of Julio Jones, is the Atlanta Falcons' number 1 wide receiver. And I think he's in for a very, very big year. He showed last year that he can be the number 1 receiver. And this guy, man, he is such a good route runner. He is very, very good at route running and such a good deep threat for Matt Ryan and those Atlanta Falcons. Him and Kyle Pitts are going to be a great, great duo for years. At number 7, we have Justin Jefferson. And before anyone roasts in the comments and say, "Oh, you're biased, you're stupid," I'm about to lay some freaking facts on your forehead, man. You've probably heard it. He had 88 receptions, 1,400 yards. He didn't start until week 3. This guy was second team All Pro his rookie year. He broke Randy Moss's single season receiving record. He broke Anquan Bolden's rookie receiving record. This guy was just phenomenal last year, and you got to see. He came out of college out of LSU, and he was just a slot guy. Teams didn't know if he could win out the outside, and he proved everyone wrong last year. He is the future number 1 wide receiver. He is the number 1 wide receiver next year, going into next year for the Minnesota Vikings. And I feel like he is just getting started. Number 6, we have Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers. This guy, once again, I feel like he's very underrated as a route runner and as a receiver. This guy has some of the best routes in the league. He's very, very, very. He doesn't talk much, man. He doesn't talk much. He just gets the job done. And yeah, he's a great number 1 wide receiver for the Chargers, and just a great target for Justin Herbert. At number 5, we have the newest wide receiver of the Tennessee Titans. That is Julio Jones, one of the GOAT wide receivers, one of the greatest we've seen ever play. I get that he's aging, but he still has a couple of years left in him. And I feel like him coming to Tennessee brings a lot more to the plate than just running the ball in route. A.J. Brown, like this guy is gonna be amazing next year, and I feel like the Titans are gonna be one of the better teams in the AFC. Number 4, we have Stephon Diggs. He was always good for Minnesota, but I feel like he wanted to be the number 1 wide receiver. He wanted to be the main guy on the offense, and with Buffalo, he is. As you can see last year, he had a breakout year, 1,500 yards. He was the receiving champion last year. Him and Josh Allen have a great rapport, and I feel like he did bring Josh Allen's game to the next level and pushed him over the hurdle that, Josh Allen was on. He was always had that big arm. Everyone knew that he had so much potential, and he just needed a number 1 wide receiver, man. No disrespect to John Brown and Cole Beasley, but they're no Stephon Diggs. This guy needed a number 1 wide receiver, and I feel like teams need to realize that. If you have a young quarterback in the making, you need the alpha receiver, and that will help him tremendously. And I think Brandon Beane did a great job building this Bills team from the ground up, and the Bills are one of the top teams in the AFC easily. At number 3, we have Tyreek Hill. And I hate when people say that he's just speed, because he is not. He has some of the best routes in the league. He knows how to separate, and he's very underrated hands. And he just does it every year, You see Patty Mahomes do a play action. He's chucking it 70 yards down the field, and you just know it's going to Tyreek Hill. You can see here's piecing out Antoine Winfield. Gotta love it. At number 2, we have DeAndre Hopkins. First year with the Cardinals last year. I don't know how the hell the Cardinals got him for a 2nd-round pick, but it's whatever. This guy, there's not much to say about him, dude. Like, just amazing hands. Like, this guy just knows how to play wide receiver. There's no flaws in his game. This guy just year in, year out just destroys. Literally just destroys. At number 1, obviously, we have Davante Adams. I don't know what to say about all these wide receivers in the top 10. You all say the same thing. I don't think there's a flaw. I think there's a single flaw in Davante Adams' game. He's the best route runner in the league. His release off the line is what destroys every corner, and no one's been able to figure it out yet. Him and Aaron Rodgers have just the best connection in the league, I think, and he's just going to destroy it for years to come. With that being said, that was my top 32 wide receiver list. If you have anything to say, please leave in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends. This is Stack the Box, everything football, and we'll see you next time. Take care.